Hi and welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about the early history of what is now Great Britain. This is not intended to be an in-depth university level lecture. It's more of a general overview to help those of you studying for the Life in the UK test. It is not intended to be a replacement for the handbook that you have for the Life in the UK test. It's more of an addition in case having someone telling you about it is easier than reading it. However, you should still refer to the handbook for your test. This is the third in a series of short videos covering different times in British history. If you missed the first ones, you may wish to watch the videos about the Stone Age and the Bronze and Iron Ages first. If not, come with me and let's see what happened during the time of the Romans. First of all, let's take a look at some of the more difficult words that you are going to hear. Listen to the definitions and try to match the word to the meaning. To invade means to arrive in a country with the intention of taking over. To conquer means to defeat in a battle and win the right to stay by force. Ultimately means after a long time or finally. Architecture is the design of a building or the style of a building. Intact means something has not been broken, it's still in one piece. You may wish to pause the video for a moment so that you can try to match the words to meanings before the answers appear on screen. And here come the answers. Listen carefully to the history and try to answer the questions that appear on the screen. The Romans first invaded under Julius Caesar in 55 BCE and again in 54 BCE, but they failed to conquer the country completely. Almost 100 years later, in 43 CE, the Emperor Claudius invaded, and this time he was more successful. The Romans did meet with a lot of resistance from the native people, the most famous instance being in the east of England in 60 CE, when Boudicca, who was queen of a tribe called the Iceni, led her people against them. But ultimately they were defeated and the Romans ruled for almost 400 years. Boudicca is one of the most famous women in British history, and there is a statue of her near the Houses of Parliament in London. While they were here, the Romans built roads, bathhouses, amphitheatres, villas, and much more. There are examples of Roman architecture in several locations around the UK, including Cirencester, Chedworth, Bath Spa, and Chester. They were also responsible for introducing some animals, such as rabbits, and plants to the country. In 122 CE, Hadrian's Wall was begun. There had been a lot of resistance from the Picts, the ancestors of the modern-day Scottish people, and the Romans were not able to conquer them. They therefore decided to build a wall and a series of forts as a defence system. Large parts of these walls are still intact, and you can see the remains of the forts at Housesteads and Vindolanda. Hadrian's Wall is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was during the time of Roman occupation that the first Christian communities appeared in Britain. In about 410 CE, the Romans left to defend other parts of their empire, and they never returned. This left the way clear for the next set of invaders. Let's just summarise those main points. The Romans first invaded in 55 BC under Julius Caesar. They invaded again in 43 CE under the Emperor Claudius. Boudica was a famous queen who fought against the Romans. There is a statue of Boudica in Westminster. The Romans built roads and a lot of other buildings. They brought plants and animals with them which could not be found naturally in Britain. Hadrian's Wall was built as protection against the Picts. It is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The forts at Housesteads and Vindolanda can still be visited. First Christians appeared in Britain during the time of the Romans. The Romans stayed until about 410 CE. I hope you found that useful. You may wish to listen again, but if you feel confident, then look out for the next video where we'll talk about the Anglo-Saxons. I look forward to welcoming you back very soon.